Friends, have you ever thought that the country's poverty rate was 80% 50 years ago? How? It has become the fastest growing economy of the world today, and the life expectancy rate of a country was 45 years in 1970. How did she reach 75 years today? We are talking about our neighboring country Bangladesh. Friends, how was Bangladesh born? Most of us know this story. When East Pakistan became Bangladesh in 1971, it was a very large country. At that time, it was suffering from every social problem of the country, such as poverty, unemployment, and maternal mortality. And it was the responsibility of the government of that time to fix it, which not only was corrected by the Bangladesh government but is also secretly moving towards becoming the richest country in South Asia. In this video, we are going to understand the story of Bangladesh's transformation within 50 years and its remarkable journey to become a developing nation. If an underdeveloped country wants to grow, it has to work on some of these factors. Like identify your important assets, use it to add value to the economy, build a strong client base, generate cash flow, and most importantly, create some other assets from this cash flow. This process will continue in a circular virtuous economy, which will boost the present economy. But in the case of Bangladesh, something was different. See, when you have such an asset which is less in the world, are there any chances? You will be able to complete this cycle, as Middle East countries have done. He has sold oil to the world, recognizing it as an asset, and the money that came from it has been used in maritime trade, and then the money that came from maritime trade, he has developed the infrastructure and he has been successful. Bangladesh had their cheap labor as an asset because the youth there did not get any job opportunities after independence. If seen, whatever country has developed, they have not released just one industry or sector. But it diversifies itself, and this is done so that if there is loss in one sector, there is no economic crash. And we can take Sri Lanka as an example. Where the economy was most dependent on the tourism sector, it was the most preferred destination of Chinese companies during the 80s and 90s, and this was because cheap laborers were easily available there and China had emerged as a manufacturing hub there. But at the same time, Bangladesh was also preparing itself to deal with the whole problem, and it took two such policies which raised the country from underdevelopers to developing categories. But Bangladesh's second largest economy in South Asia, with real GDP of $1.001 trillion US. Then that. So let's know about the impressive journey of this country. Bangladesh's success completely depends on four factors, and those factors are: one industry has got immense success, which is the textile industry of Bangladesh. Garment means also called RMG industry. Second is remittance of migrants, third is speed of microfinance, and fourth, that is last and most significant, remarkable role of NGO, and the biggest of all these factors is RMG industry. But all this has not been possible so easily. See, capital is the most important thing to run the business. But the banking system there was very limited in giving loans to the businessmen, due to which the businessman was in need of funds, and the second biggest problem was the high import duty imposed by the government of Bangladesh, and lastly was the biggest issue. Due to all the problems regarding infrastructure, no one was doing business in Bangladesh. But how to tackle this problem? This video is his story, and to understand this story better, we have to take a look at the political situation there as well. They understand like this too. Friends, the Awami League, led by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, played an active role in the independence of Bangladesh. After independence, the task of rebuilding Bangladesh and creating a new system was now in his hands and his party. Whatever Bangladesh happened after the Just War, it was divided into very small fractions and pockets. Each and every pocket was engaged in establishing its political power, and because of this, the Awami League and Ment of that time started filling their loyalists in the government service, keeping aside health and merit, which later proved to be very fatal. Friends, the land that was there at the time of independence belonged to some influential people, who have been running for the last 24 years. I had a sample of governance. That government first nationalized 700 farms and handed over it to its party supporters and greed, who had neither industry-specific knowledge nor knowledge of running business, and the result was that in the last few years, 192% of industries were nationalist, and private businessmen overburdened by tax and duty proved to be a big mistake, and Bangladesh was completely broken. After this, the flood in 1974 also completed the right unturned. If seen, there was a shortage of food. Inflation at that time was 400%, and the situation was worse due to mass unemployment. People had support for an anti-Mujibur, which the military there took advantage of. Second, his family was murdered, except for his two daughters who were studying in London. Too many more counters. After that, Military General Ziaur Rahman assumed office in 1977. His first task was to attract foreign investment to Bangladesh. Many Western countries were ready to give foreign to Bangladesh. He had just one condition, and that condition was that Bangladesh would have to liberalize its economy. This Yahoo Rahman agreed. If seen in that, Bangladesh got massive and the economy of Bangladesh started improving, and the maximum improvement was seen in the agriculture sector. But by 1980, Ziaur Rahman refused to do further economic improvement, and slowly the situation started getting worse again. The result was that Bangladesh saw 20 coups in the next few years, and the last one was successful. Friends, Army Chief of Staff Hussein Mohammed formed a new government in 1983. Although Ershad played an authoritarian and strong dictatorial role, he started economic reforms from the beginning, and his biggest achievement is the establishment of a sports processing zone on 450 acres. Apart from all this, there is a very different achievement of the Ershad government, which usually does not happen in a dictatorial state, and that is the setting up of many NGOs, which have made a different contribution in improving the condition of Bangladesh. So listen to all the news. The most prominent is Fund Grameen Bank, which was established by Muhammad Yunus. The biggest achievement of the NGO is providing loans to microfinance and groups, which templated the economic growth in Bangladesh, which we will discuss in another video some other time. The other NGO, Break, which was established in Faisal, was working to build hospitals and schools. If seen, its direct impact was seen in getting people out of poverty, and the biggest achievement was RS reaching every house, which reduced millions of people suffering from diseases like diarrhea. Coming back to the major policy score, which we discussed in this video. Was it done at the beginning of C till now? We have seen the condition of Bangladesh, its political journey, and how these juices have improved the situation there. Now we will pay attention to the ready-made garment sector of Bangladesh, due to which the economy of Bangladesh boomed. And which policies help in this? Friends, back-to-back letter of credit consists of 2 letters of credit. If we try to understand this through an example, then suppose that the company is one of the best companies which sells heavy machinery. And there is a company located in Bangladesh and it has to buy heavy machinery, and there is a company in between which is India Best, a training firm, so the company also acts as a broker and finalizes a deal between these 2 companies. Here's the company. Wants to sell the machinery but does not want to take the risk of default on payment by company C. In such a situation, transactions are done by issuing back-to-back. In fact, what will have to be done in this is that the company will go to any well-known financial institution in Bangladesh and get the line of credit issue done in the name of broker B. After this, the broker will also go to India's loan financial situation regarding this, and the company will get any issue done. Second, now the company can receive the heavy machine because it knows that a reliable Indian bank is going to pay it after the transaction is over. In such a situation, the company that is the broker will also get the assurance of its payment. And the credit risk will be removed from the entire transaction. The system has made it very easy for Bangladeshi businessmen to do business, and with the help of this they easily started setting up textile industries, and soon their large-scale expansion took place. Now the second problem was that due to heavy import duty, the trade was not as profitable as it should have been. But making the duty free for the government would have meant giving up a major chunk of income that no government would be prepared for. The solution to this was another policy, that is policy of duty drawback facilities wanted warehouse. Its simple meaning is that if you want duty-free import, then you have to keep your goods and that go down. It will be used only and only for the export. See, it had 2 advantages. First, reduction of import duty, and second benefit was growth in countries as a export. The industry of Bangladesh got a big boost when the cost of labor in China had increased, and Bangladesh was fully prepared for this opportunity. Bangladesh had labor as well as infrastructure and credit availability, which has increased the growth of Bangladesh. If seen, today 84% of the RMG industry is an export and has given jobs to 4 million workers. Bangladesh's industry has increased its global share from 4.7 to 6.7% in export. The industry has grown from $14.6 billion in 2011 to $33.1 billion in 2019 and has shown a CAGR of 7% in its last 8 years. Despite all, Bangladesh has many challenges ahead. The biggest challenge is to diversify our economy, without which there cannot be sustainable growth. RMG industry is 10% of the economy and 84% of its trade. As soon as the preferential trade agreement is removed by 2026, Ethiopia countries can get these chances. The second problem is also of environmental concern. Bangladesh has caused the most damage to its environment in its economic journey and has the highest risk of global warming. The 2013 Rana Plaza factory fire and Tazreen factory fire are proof of the dangerous conditions there. If seen, the condition of the people has not improved that much even now. This was expected, and Bangladesh is also suffering from its population and refugee crisis. Apart from all this, urban migration is also a big challenge for Bangladesh. Because it is estimated that by 2050, 45 million people will go to the already crowded city by bus, so we have learned and known a lot in the wonderful journey of Bangladesh. Economic growth is important for any country, but along with it, sustainable growth is also necessary, so that the journey becomes more remarkable in the years to come.